All right, so we're back from vacation. We've been hanging out at the beach and stuff, and doing a lot of thinking and reflecting and goofing off and just kind of recharging the batteries. And I'm excited to be back and riding and stuff. But you know, when you're doing that, sometimes you get your mind because when you're in business and you're working and you're riding, you're just thinking, mules, riding, how to train this, how to fix this, about this, what kind does this client need, where can I find this, where can I find that, and so a lot of times you're just so occupied with work, whatever your job is, that you don't have time just to sit back and think of nothingness, just things that are just random. And the other part of my world, I spent my whole life doing martial arts and stuff, and so there were some things that come up and things that made me reflect on some things. And if you go out there and you ask people, have you ever had anything worth fighting for? Have you fought for anything? A lot of them will say no, but almost everybody, if you say, do you have anything you feel like is worth fighting for? They'll say, yeah. And then, you say, well, what in your life do you feel like is worth fighting for? And they'll name something. But then they never, well, you're kind of full of shit, just to be honest with you, because they say that there's things in their life, or they feel like, my kids are worth fighting for, my wife's worth fighting for, whatever it is that they feel like is worth fighting for. But they never learn to fight. How can it be? So it wasn't worth training for? It wasn't worth getting ready for? It wasn't worth preparing yourself for? It wasn't worth getting yourself in shape for? I think that people really have things that are worth fighting for in life and believe it and have a dose of reality that someday they may have to fight for it. Make some effort to be prepared for it and learn to fight and be ready. And the people, like, the next step is, if you're maybe you're a little bit too lazy to learn how to actually fight, or you don't have the physical attributes to fight, but they learn how to defend with some sort of weapon, a gun, knife, whatever, in case they do have to defend something they feel like it's worth fighting for. So I mean, at least do that. But there's a lot of people out there that are just helpless. Well, if you're just helpless, if you do not know how to fight, if you're not in the shape to fight, or if you don't have a weapon, or you're not proficient with a weapon, then to me, it seems obvious that you really feel like there's nothing in your life worth fighting for. And man, I feel bad for that. I feel bad for you not having anything that has that kind of passion for, or that thing that you're willing to sacrifice and work for, bleed for, sweat for. So go out there, try to find yourself something worth sacrificing for, something worth fighting for, something worth putting above yourself, something that you're willing to make yourself better or more prepared for, something you feel, whether it's your country, your home, your wife, your kid, whatever. But find something in life worth fighting for, and you're going to have a better life. And then get yourself in position, one way or the other, to where you feel like you're ready to fight. And so I know you guys are in different parts of the country, and I know that different things go on. But so randomly last night, we're coming back from vacation, and we just ended it, like everybody else, at a random time, and drove back, and we hung out with some friends in Mississippi, and I picked up some mules in Mississippi, and I dropped off. So there's no certain particular time or thing, and that's how life is that you're just wandering along, and then aimlessly things happen. So as we're coming through Memphis, you'll see it on the news. Dudes driving around Memphis shooting at people, killing people, live on Facebook. Now, we weren't live on Facebook. We didn't see it. We didn't know this after. But we see the cops got the bridge blocked off. We see, a car looks like it's, where people are dead, and life can just change that fast, that somebody gets on a whim or wants some kind of status, wants publicity, wants to be famous, so they literally just drive around and start shooting people. And to think that we were within minutes of it could have been us, that we literally drive by a part of the shooting, and the cops and the traffic jam and everything that ensued, just 20 feet away. That's craziness. you know, I can fight pretty well. I can hold my own, but at the same time, there's always like a rifle and multiple pistols in my truck, in case something happens and stuff. Guys, you know, learn your basic, not just self-defense, but times are getting crazy, man. Like, this guy had apparently no motivation, no motive, or what. I mean, obviously he has some motivation, but no motive, no reason, no logical reason. That's just how crazy shit is. Just seemed like, you know, looks like a normal guy, you know. But anyways, be prepared, because there's going to be a time, hopefully there's never a time for you, but there's going to be a time that some of us are going to be called upon to defend things that we find worth fighting for. You know, our vehicles, our homes, our wives, our kids. Be prepared. Don't be sitting around dumbfounded. We're getting pretty close to the time to where you may have to handle shit yourself. Be ready for it. Be a man. This whole thing of everything's got to be acceptable, everything's got to be nice. Let's don't hurt nobody's feelings. Let's get all these gun laws. Let's take away stuff. That's just bullshit. Man, at least in my world, in the martial arts world, in the mule world, that's the two main groups of people I deal with. It's still acceptable to be a man in our group, and we might be the only ones left around. You know, people that are cowboy-like, or people that are martial artists. And so it may be upon us to defend things that are valuable to other people. So, man, go train, learn something, learn some fighting, get a gun, get proficient with it, get good with it, get some knives, get some knife defense. I'm not some kind of crazy gun fanatic. Matter of fact, generally I've got a 45 long Colt old school, but I'm pretty damn proficient with it. You wouldn't want to be real close to me if I got pissed off with one, because I spend the time on practice. And I mean, I practice shooting bottles off mules while they're loping. And that's much harder than shooting out of the window of a truck, I assure you. So had somebody in this case, if he'd have been driving by in his car shooting random people and I'd have been in my truck, I would have been prepared to do something about that. And I think we need to accept that we're just going to have to be more prepared. And I'd like to encourage all of you guys, if you have anything worth fighting for, learn to fight, learn to defend, be prepared for it, arm yourselves. And I don't generally carry concealed. I don't generally carry something on my person. I carry a knife on me all the time, and it's a good knife. It's one that's going to open quickly, and it's going to be efficient. I have at least this on me at all times. But I do, if I'm in my truck, if I'm traveling, if I walk over to pretty much any vehicle on this property, there's at least one pistol, and generally a rifle too, because I don't want to get in a gunfight with somebody else shoot me with a pistol. But I can't pull out some rifle and get a little range advantage and a little accuracy advantage. So there's generally a rifle and usually two pistols. And I do have, in case shit gets serious, I do have a 10mm Glock that's got the laser sights, flashlight. That it is, you know, because I have that military background. Now, I don't like that. I like those old school cowboy 45 Loncos. But if shit gets real, I've got 5 clips fully loaded for that Glock sitting in my truck too. So because I'm prepared for the worst. And just like I said, just, you know, we're out there having a peaceful, relaxing time on the beach, hanging out, driving back, and we're just driving to Memphis like nothing happened, and people are being murdered right there, just driving around, people shooting them up, and we go right through the middle of that stuff. And it could have happened to anybody, and it did happen to some people. It happened to some people yesterday in Memphis, Tennessee. Crazy times, folks. Glad to be back here in my safe little town, in my riding my mules and playing cowboy and stuff. But like I said, I got a Bobby Tyler Tomahawk. It's razor sharp. You can shave with some bitch sitting in my truck too. And you can, like I said, somebody wants to pull a knife, you pull a Tomahawk, you're going to have that advantage. So order you one from Tyler Gunworks. You want a good Tomahawk? Get you a gun of your choice. Get some knife fighting. If you're gonna do, I've done martial arts my whole life. Pretty much every martial art there is, I've been dedicated to it my whole life. Let me save you some time. you need to do wrestling so you can decide whether this is going to be on the ground or standing up. You need to do boxing, because that's the king of middle range. And anybody that's going to be punching well is going to have some ability to do some sort of boxing. So you at least need to know what those, that jab, cross, uppercut, overhand right is going to look like. And the defenses for that, you need to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so you'll have the ability to choke somebody out, break their arm, defend yourself on the ground, on the back if somebody puts you on the ground or on your back. And Muay Thai is excellent because that's going to give you your knees and your elbows and your headbutts, which are the easiest tools that don't require a lot of strength. You get some little lady and stuff, and she tries to punch you, she'll probably break her hand or break her fist, but she can elbow you or knee you in your face and cause some damage. And then the kicks from Muay Thai are stronger. One, because you can throw them from middle range or long range, because they kick with their shins instead of the top of their foot. So get you some boxing, some wrestling, some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and some Muay Thai. If you want to be cool like me and learn some leg locks where you can just break people's legs, people have a hard time chasing you with a broken leg. You can generally break their leg, which is also going to start affecting their respiratory systems, and everything's going to start shutting down. The nervous systems and stuff shutting down. They get that adrenaline down. I have found that generally when you break somebody's leg, they're pretty much done with the fight. So, but that's extra. That's on icing on the cake. So you want to learn some Russian Sambo or something, that's extra cool, but that's icing on the cake. Boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, Muay Thai, those are your top four. So the Taekwondo, take your dough, you're wasting your time. It was cool in the 60s and 70s when they meant to kick somebody hard, the point fight, and giving 8-year-olds black belts. It's a joke now. Stay safe out there, people. If you got something worth fighting for, learn to fight. You can't say you got something worth fighting for and then sit on your ass on the couch and watch TV, because then you really don't feel like you have nothing worth fighting for. And if you do, you're going to lose, and whoever wants it's going to take it from you. That's your dose of Max Reality today.